I feel like life is moving a million miles per hour and I can't keep up. There's too much stimulus all the time, too many responsibilities, and too much life to figure out. I feel like my brain is going to explode, and all I want to do is stop. Everything. Sometimes I just want to crawl into a cave and hide. Well, it turns out there is a type of therapy where you literally go into a cave, a pitch black cave, for days, sometimes weeks or months on end, and deprive yourself of light, sound, and all external stimuli. It's called a darkness retreat. Traditionally, this is an ancient spiritual practice reserved for very advanced meditation practitioners, but now a handful of darkness retreats throughout the world have made this experience available to regular folk like me, and people seem to be having profound experiences in the dark.
I'm in an ayahuasca vision that just won't shut off.
Did I find the meaning of life in here?
I started thinking this was exactly what I needed.
Absolutely one of the most powerful experiences of my life.
So I booked 6 nights at Sky Cave retreats in the mountains of Oregon, where I would be spending a total of 100 hours in the dark. It's getting a lot more real knowing that we're going to the land, we're going to the cave. There's no turning back. When we arrived at the retreat center located in the middle of nowhere in a no-service zone, a man named Scott, the owner of the retreat, was there to greet us.
Welcome.
Thank you. Before anything else, Scott wanted to take me up to the cave so I could see my accommodations. Oh, that's it? Okay. How come you named it the Sky Cave?
Well, the cave for the dark and the sky for the views up here, and the polarity of the expansiveness of the sky and kind of the containment of the cave. And yet in the dark, it's both contained and expansive.
You chose a great name. Here we go, into the Sky Cave.
So this is where we'll pass the food.
How many times a day?
So we'll bring it once a day, all the meals. Minimize disturbance and let you really get lost in the timelessness.
Is there an emergency button in here?
There's an emergency foghorn. No one's ever used it.
Wherever that buzzy bug is, get that thing out of here. Think about how terrible that would be to have a mosquito biting you the whole time you're in the dark and you don't know where it is. It's so dark. Is this underground?
It is.
This is actually a cave. The cave is pretty cozy. It's a small room with a bed, an area for yoga and meditation, a bathroom, a bathtub, and the food box where Scott will be delivering my meals. It also has an airflow system to circulate fresh air. It's soundproof and, of course, lightproof. Whoa. Okay, this is trippy. Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's like total sensory deprivation. I think one of the things that's important, beneficial, helpful is getting clear on what your core desire is. You have one desire that prevails over all other desires. And what is it? Do you know what that is for you?
I don't know. I have ideas of what I think it might be,
right.
But I feel a lot of the ideas that I have are illusions.
We don't have a lot of time to think about it. Ironically, we arrived at Sky Cave retreats on the summer solstice. This is significant because the solstice is the longest, brightest day of the year in the northern hemisphere. For hundreds of years across various cultures and traditions, the solstice has been regarded as a sacred day to celebrate the return of the light, and the community here on this land was honoring this tradition. I feel like the May Queen from Midsummer. It seemed only fitting for me to join in on the celebration, since the very next day I would be saying goodbye to the sun. The next morning, I started to really question what I was about to do. There's no way to know the level of challenge that I'm gonna go through when I'm in there until I'm actually in it.
part of me is really afraid of the shadow part of myself that is bound to come through.
I decided to call my friend Amar for some last-minute advice since he completed a 5-day darkness retreat in the same exact cave just a few months before.
This is like turning off the lights for the first time since you were born. There's nothing but your own ability to just watch and observe your own mind.
You have tried tons of really uncomfortable challenges. Even us doing Wim Hof together was, for me, one of the most challenging experiences I've gone through. How does going into the dark compare to everything else?
It's the hardest thing that I've ever had to do.
Wait, what?
Oh, 100%. It hit me where I have always avoided. The ultimate putting up the mirror to yourself and to your own mind and getting to watch it. And that is, I couldn't think of something that I'm more scared of.
What advice do you have for staying in it and not running out the door?
Pray. Pray to the source, whatever that means to you.
Luckily, Yes Theory let me borrow their security cameras to document this experience. The cameras use infrared technology to record in the dark, but this is not visible to the human eye. So after we rigged up the cameras, it was time for me to enter the darkness.
It's game time, baby! Let's do it! Ah! I have a feeling shit's gonna get weird in this cave. I can feel it already. Like, it's just a dark cave, no big deal. Oh! I just accidentally blew it out. Okay, here we are. In the dark. It's pitch black. Like, you cannot see anything. I don't know if I've ever been in this level of blackness and darkness. Okay, so, what do I do now? I guess I could go eat something? Yeah, that sounds good. Eat some soup. That's naturally the first plan of action for this. It's gonna be a whole thing, like navigating around the room.
Wall. There's the bed. You can just crawl around.
Once I found the food cabinet with the soup I knew was waiting for me in a thermos, eating in the dark wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. This simple act of being able to eat my soup successfully felt like a big win.
I totally lost my way. Oh no. Wait, where am I? I completely... Oh. It's the bed. Yes. It's changed.
After scrummaging around the cubbies for my coziest clothes, I finally found them. It was easier than I thought it would be to get changed. Another win. But navigating to the bathroom, not so much.
Now what? It's so weird not having anything to do.
I decided to try and meditate. But my mind would not shut off. So I turned to breathwork, one of my best tools for shutting off my brain. This is a great time to mention the sponsor of this video, Open. Open is a breathwork and mindfulness app with incredible guided meditation, movement, and breathwork experiences. Breathwork has helped me so much to reduce stress and anxiety, improve my sleep, and help me boost my mood when I'm feeling low. Personally, when I do breathwork, I love having a guide, so I love Open because they have so many different types of guided breathwork with amazing teachers. If you want to try Open for 30 days free, be sure to click the link in the video description and use my code SKY30. After getting lost in some breathwork for a while, I completely lost track of time. When I came back to reality, I was really tired, so I decided the best plan of action was to find my way to bed and sleep for as long as possible to pass the time.
Sleep.
After sleeping for what felt like a really long time, I finally woke up.
What's crazy about this is that I have no sense of time at all. It could be 6 a.m., it could be 8 a.m., it could be noon, it could be 2. I don't know. I don't know how long I slept. It felt like a long time. I feels like time doesn't even exist. There's nowhere to be, no one to see, nothing to do.
I figured implementing my normal morning routine might help the situation. So I made the bed, I got dressed, brushed my teeth, then I did yoga and took my sweet time. I meditated, then I did more breath work, then I had breakfast, and then there was nothing to do again but think about the time.
I've been feeling recently like time is going so fast. Now that time is moving so slowly in here, I'm like, this is more uncomfortable. I pretty much base my entire life around time, and I schedule everything in, and I have such a routine. And now that there's none of that, I feel so lost. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit here? I love Boston. Touching me. Home of the Red Sox. Touching you. The Boston Bruins. Sweet Caroline. Harvard. MIT. Good times never seem so good. Cold, freezing weather. So good, so good, so good. I'm a Boston girl at heart.
I'll admit this is slightly embarrassing for me to show you, but somehow connecting with my Boston roots and singing at the top of my lungs was strangely comforting.
I need you.
After I sang all I could sing, the thoughts came again. I feel like I have all these questions I want answers to. I want all this clarity. I don't think anything has happened other than me singing a lot and laying a lot. I feel like I've gotten nowhere. I don't even know where I'm trying to get to.
The kind of states that get induced in the dark can vary per person. A lot of discomfort and uncomfortable feelings and thoughts arise that we never even allow to arise because we're not in a space where we can distract ourselves. At that point, it becomes really clear that all that's really existing in the space is one's mind. The ticket to going beyond the mind and really getting the depth and the richness of the medicine in the dark is to rest. How deeply can you rest? And from that, one enters into that stillness and the space beyond the mind. We live in a culture that does not prioritize rest.
Hi, Sky.
Hi. Wait, let me come over here.
How are you doing?
It's so weird. Time is completely irrelevant in here. I'm like, oh, I want to come out of this and I want to have all these answers, and I don't really know how to go about that, you know?
How to go about getting your answers?
Yeah.
Well, typically, clarity will arise from that deep rest when we're not grasping at something. Just keep moving into that rest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll leave you with that. Now you'll just have conversations with darkness.
It was nice talking to you.
You too, Sky. Bye for now.
Bye.
I mean, rest is really what I wanted, right? Then why was I so resistant to it? So with my only priority being to rest, I took a lovely, long bath and went to bed with the intention of spending the following day resting like I've never rested before. I've been laying in this bed for hours. We're conditioned in our society to believe that in order to be worthy, we have to be productive. So for me, like hiding away in this cave, laying around, it brings up this feeling of unworthiness. Am I worthy of taking this time? And I think the feeling of unworthiness comes up a lot in my life. Why do I feel unworthy? I thought by now I would be having all sorts of powerful downloads. That's not really the case. I'm just lying around. Scott asked me, what
What is my core desire? I don't know that yet. I think one thing I do want is I want answers to life. I want to know what this is. I want to know why we're here. But I don't know if I'm ever going to get those. Where am I going to get them from? Where do I think they're going to come from? Somewhere in the darkness? The only place they can come is from within me.
At a certain point, the darkness holds this space, being with, resting into all of our discomforts, our pains, our anguishes, our remorses, our resentments, our fears, our worries, all the things that we'd say are like negative emotions, including that as part of all that is. And so that capacity to accept that there's an opportunity where we don't have to cover ourselves in a certain way of being. There's a deep freedom in that.
Just realized something. I've been running away from my shadow. I've been running away from my darkness. Because frankly, I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of the parts of myself that aren't so pretty. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to be that. I don't want any part of that. Yet those things exist within me. That's what it means to be a human being, is that we have some shadow stuff lurking around. And it's just part of who we are. We can try and pretend like it's not there. We can keep pushing it away, but it's there somewhere. And I just want to give this an opportunity to let it out. She deserves to be seen. My darkness, it's part of me, and how much I'm willing to love and accept this part of me will determine how it interacts with me. What if this was it? What if these were my last moments? I feel peaceful. I feel comfort. I feel a level of presence that I haven't felt in maybe ever. Presence. Presence. What is my core desire? I think it might be presence. I get so caught up in the past, what I could have done better, all the mistakes I made, how I wish I could go back. And then the future, all the ways that I want my life to look. How do I make it happen? How do I do that? How do I get there? And what about right now? What about living for right now? Full presence now. It's so beautiful. It's so freeing. It is so freeing. It is so freeing. It is so freeing. It is so magical to be in deep presence. Nowhere to go, nowhere to be, nothing to do except to be here now. I never thought I would be sitting here saying, I don't want to leave. I made friends with the darkness. I found such a presence in here that I have not experienced before. And my job is to find a way to find that presence out there.
Welcome.
Oh, the air. It smells so different. Oh, the air. It's so crisp.
I spent 85 hours straight in the dark, then went back into the cave later that day to complete my last 15 hours of 100 with no cameras or documentation. This is what Scott recommended as a way to integrate the therapy smoothly.
There you go. And there you feel back for the chair.
Chair is here. I feel kind of sad. It's like when you go on vacation and you don't want to leave. You're like, I just want to stay a little bit longer. What I found most fascinating was how something that started as uncomfortable turned into the deepest comfort I've ever felt. Everything is perception because it's the same room and it's only my perception of it that changed, that completely shifted the entire experience. In the darkness, there's so much space. The space allows for whatever needs to happen. We want to resist parts of ourselves that we find scary. But if you can allow that part of yourself a space to be seen and heard, then it's not as scary as you think it is. It doesn't mean that that's everything you are. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're wrong, you're bad. It just means that you're human, and it is so important to just witness and to love and accept all of it. That's where the true presence comes. That's where the true stillness and peace is on the other side of just full acceptance. And I'm talking like I know all these things, but like I still don't. Like I still don't know a lot, but I feel like at least I learned a lot while I was in there. I'm nervous. Thank you, darkness, for all of your lessons. I love you, and I will be back. Oh my God! It's so bright. It's so bright. I haven't even opened my eyes. Okay, I need to give myself a second to calibrate here. Whoa. I feel like a newborn baby, just like... Whoa. Wow. I feel high. I feel like I'm tripping. I feel like everything's spinning. I forgot what my hands looked like. Oh my gosh, I feel so dizzy. Is that common?
Yeah. Doesn't last too long.
Scott, do you think we're in a simulation?
Anything's possible.